thought today I'd change things up a little bit and just have some fun with some different colors. Kind of grab just some different, these different colors here. Not really worried about it as far as trying to be realistic or anything like that. This is a zombie. It's from the Teeny Terrors. It's a Grayscale from Chuck Moberg, and I always cut my pages out, so my books always get raggedy. So I got it set up here. Trying to just a little bit different technique with my filming, as far as this is my center. That way I can get kind of closer to what's going on. So I'm gonna go in with this. I'm gonna kind of do this bright yellow sand color, and then we're gonna move into some greens and potentially maybe some blues around here, and of course the mouth and the blood and all the gore and stuff. We'll get into that too. So just showing you how I do it. Just gonna lightly come in with some yellow and start adding, because I'm thinking about the colors I wanted. The cool thing about coming in with this yellow is that I know I want him to have a green kind of tint to him, being a little zombie. And the yellow is really cool for that, because I can come in with some yellows. The greens will lay over yellow really nicely. So if I came in with this green right here, I can come in and just kind of play around and start putting some variations in there with this green. And if I want, I can do red over that, and it'll go to an orange. I can even come in with some blue and push some of these greens with the blue. I really prefer using blue and yellow for my greens. It just gives it a little better tone. So just playing around this little spot right here, showing you a couple different ways you can do it. I'm still getting used to having this light right in my face. It'll all work out. This yellow is not necessarily the highlights. This yellow's there. I'm gonna mix into it. This is kind of like an underpainting of yellow, just to kind of set the mood for this right here. And also, I'll probably come in and add some flesh tones just to add a little humanity to it, here and there, just to make it look cooler. Give it that humanity look. So I was trying to keep my videos down to like 30 minutes or so, but it's so hard without breaking it up into 2 different videos to get it all in one shot. So I'm just gonna put out the long form videos. I think maybe people will get more from it. This isn't about me showing off in any way. I'm just trying to show different ideas and how I do things, and maybe someone will relate and be able to say, oh yeah, I'd like to try that too. I'd like to use that color together. This is basically what this channel's about. It's really not, it's not about me, it's about the art. Yeah, so I like that color right there. I'm gonna push this green down. See where I use that blue, how much vibrant that blue is. You almost, once you start doing that, you're almost kind of married to it. You just fall in love, and it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna use that blue. So right now we're just kind of coming in and giving him a little bit of gore, a little messed up face. We'll come in and darken up all our values later once we kind of figure out where we're going. Cool thing about doing these zombies and stuff like that is you're not nailed down anywhere. You can switch colors at any time. It's like, you know what, I like to play with this color, and you just go in there and play with it, and in the end you got this guy that's, you know, it's just a zombie that's messed up. I use a lot of different, you know, sometimes I pull the color across like this, but I'm always, one thing that's consistent about me is keeping this pencil rotating round and round and round. It's so important. And when you're going, and it's like, when do you sharpen your pencil? A lot of people just keep going, and what you feel is, you'll feel there's no tooth, there's no drag. People always refer to the tooth of the paper, and that's important. And you want to keep that tooth of the paper alive by not pressing too hard and not pounding a lot of color on there. But also there's like a tooth to your pencil too, because over time of you coloring, this will start to, I call it like a glaze over, and then you're really not able to do much with the tip of your pencil anymore. So you want to try to, now see, it's grabbing, it's making scratchy, scratch, and it's putting color down. So that's so important to keep a focus not only on your paper but also your pencil, and it'll tell you what it needs and when it needs to be sharpened. Just because it looks like this doesn't mean it's sharp. Sometimes I have to put it in there and just give it like that, just a simple turn. It'll re-edge it, kind of like resharpen the tip or the edges of it, and knock some of that glazing off of there. And I use a very light touch. You can see it's like, how are you even putting anything? Are you even putting color on there? It's like, yeah, there's some color going on there, but I'm not trying to, this isn't the color I want. This isn't my actual color. That's all gonna come into play in a little bit. As I play around in here, I'm getting this established, what's going where. And then I'm gonna come in with some different approach and different colors. There'll probably be a lot of blues that I'm gonna want to put in here. So I just nick that edge. This sharpener, once you go through these different holes, different sizes, like now if I take this pencil and I put it into this hole, you see that where the lead is way out here. So I'm just sharpening the wood. I'm just making the wood go away. So I'm not losing the value of the pencil. It's giving me a longer tip. This one's the same thing, just barely touching. And this one here is starting to focus a little bit on the lead and straighten this up to fit into there. So there we are, and this will give it almost an arrowhead tip right there. And then just one turn around. And now I've got my sharp tip. And I'm gonna come into these darker areas and pull in. Pull across here. Because I can see where the grayscale is gonna tell you everything you need to know. Where the darks are and all that. So I always say, you know, lean into that. Use it as a crutch or whatever you want to call it. It's there. You've chosen to do grayscale. There's no shame in letting it show you where to go, because that's what it's there for. That's why we chose to do the grayscale. So we're just getting some of these colors worked in there. You can hear my dog in the background wanting to get in. Forgot I had just let him out. A lot of times I follow in these directions like this right here, but I wanted that to go that way. But now if I'm going to come to this line here, I can bring that line, that direction into that. It's almost like cross hatching it in there. Keep that tip moving around. And it's coming up this wrinkle into the next And pull, go back to this dark and reestablish and pull it again. There. I'll take this green, kind of go in and blend some of this green over that blue. So I've left this nose alone intentionally because I want to start going a little bit darker. These are pencils I've never used yet. I don't know if I really like this color. It's not doing much. I'll check it over here. Yeah, it's not really that bold of a color. I need more. I need that tone that it was showing me. Maybe a little bolder. There we go. Yeah, I like that better. Just a step darker. Don't need to do much because we're gonna start getting into some reds down here. So, and the red, if you do follow the color wheel and kind of, you know that red is a complementary color to yellow, so we don't want to go too crazy with one color, which we've already done with the yellow. I mean the green. Sorry, green is complementary to red, so we don't want to do too much of the red now. We're going to use it sparingly through this area. And I don't really want this to be, I don't want this to look like it's blood dripping off. This guy's already, I guess you could say, bled out or whatever. This is going to be this greenish stuff, whatever this goo is that's on him. And we want it to look like it's going to be flowing off of him later, almost as if he was bleeding, but it's just green. So I'm going to go in and try to establish a little bit of fleshy tone to him to give him back a little bit of humanity in here. I'll probably pull it from about right in here and get this sharpened up a little bit. Remove some of that wood. There we go. So I want to pull into this. I'm going to give him a little bit of humanity. Just enough. Give him a little bit of that fleshy tone. It's not really going to be that much, but it looks pretty cool when you mix it in. I'll give it to him on these wrinkly areas here. You'll see I kind of left some spots just for this, just to come in and reestablish some humanity. There we go. Don't worry about it. I go crazy. I color out of lines. I think I've seen someone on one of the sites saying, how do you feel about coloring out of lines? And a lot of people are saying, oh, I'm ready to throw the page away if I do that. Another one hits the garbage. I'm like, what? I would never get anything done. Give him a little bit of humanity up here. Just a little bit. If you notice, I do blend a lot. I do this, you know, I'm blending here and there, but I'm not going across the entire page. I didn't take the yellow and just go everywhere with it. I kind of rely on this. This is a grayscale, so the darks are there, the lights are there. There's no reason to think that you have to do, like, you'll see people that'll draw a circle. They'll go in and they'll draw a circle, and then they'll do the, you know, all the color. And they'll go through the steps, light to dark and all that, and they'll show that's a flesh tone. That's all fine and good if you're going to draw something on a white piece of paper from the very beginning, you know. So I think a lot of people that do these grayscale coloring, I think they get kind of confused on that topic, and they think that they have to run through every every single color. You don't need to do that. You can apply it here and there. I just want a little pop, a little different. Look at that, just a little different color right there. And I'm using this Aztec gold coming in there. And I'm just gonna let this is kind of be a friend, to kind of buffer between his zombie green and his fleshy parts. So it's like a little transition area. And you can stay true to this if you want, all the way through the whole drawing. But you don't have to. You can do whatever you want. But you can see we added a, I don't know, pizzazz to it. There we go. It just works really good, I think, with that fleshy tone. And to stay true to our fleshy tone, let's take this cream and we'll just put a little bit around this brightest area right here. And I just think it's funny, sometimes you do something like this and it's like, that's not even showing up. Get a better tip on there. I bet it'll show up now. There we go. That tip is important. Gotta have a sharpened pencil. There. Now, we can have a little fun here and say that maybe this isn't a highlight area. Maybe this is turning and going down into a little bit of a pit there. If we wanted to do that, we would just let that play out as such. Give it its edges. Like that. There we go. So now it's a little bit of a pit. We can go in, maybe take the sand right here. There's a cool color. Kind of put that in there. Cool. All right. I really do like the sand color. I'm gonna come around these eyes right here with some blues, probably and a little bit of red up here. Just kind of feeling around with the sand, seeing if there's something that I like I'm gonna do. I don't really feel it right now, so got a little transition going on between our green and the fleshy tone. I'll let it be that. All right, so now let's go back to our yellow and go ahead and start pulling down this yellow down. I know this is probably gonna have that Aztec gold across the top here eventually. I'm just running with this yellow here. I really like that sand in there. That looks really good. All right, we got that in there. Let's take our blue and put some of our blues in there. Now I would like to work down into this blue so we can get our mixture here. Kind of get a little bit of that green going, and we'll create a transition down into this area here that we want to have blue. So this is our choice, you know. It's a zombie. Who cares? So we'll pull this down, and what I'll probably do is I'll probably try to get some pink and work that in to this blue, because it really goes together good. The blue and pink creates a really cool, I guess like a lavender, purpley kind of color. But you know, you look at the violet and the purple. The purple is leaning more blue than the red, and the violet's leaning more red on the color wheel. So I don't know if my hands were gesturing here, but I guess it doesn't matter. So so we're kind of thinking about that. Well, pink is over toward the red, the warmer reds and stuff. So we're going to be kind of heading that way. So we're going to come out of this really cool blue, and then we're going to jump into some pinks right around in here, and that's going to work out for us. So I got my blue. I can pull it into this yellow now and get that green tone. So look at us go. We're just using it, that underpainting of the yellow, and we're just playing in it. We're just, you know, it's like you see a mud puddle. You can't help it sometimes. You just gotta go jump in it. And that's what we're doing here, just playing. So we got that blue, and this is a dark side over here. I didn't really establish where my light's coming from, but there's my brightest point. So I just kind of start pointing my pencil there at these brighter points, and then I'll just kind of lean it to the shadows. Like, this is really bright, and I'm looking for these shadows. So it's like my light's kind of coming in like this right here. If I could establish, okay, hitting that bright, then it goes through shadows, bright shadow, bright shadow. This one's kind of coming down this direction, so it's a little like this. So then we know we can push all our shadows that way. So here I am, like on the side of this nose. I know that I'm gonna have my shadow here, and my light, we said, you know, is coming in like this. So I know my shadows are here. So like on this side, I can stay true to them shadows on this side if I want to darken this up some. I can really come over here with this and give me a little bit more of a shadowy area. And I'll leave this side alone. And that's how you get this to pop a little bit for you. So over here, we're establishing, okay, there's more shadow gonna come over to this side. And the same true here, that light's hitting there and then creating this shadow here, create shadow, but it's coming through, it's made it through. Boom, it hits there, 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 and then misses all that. But it reestablishes the light over here and on this side. So as it's coming through, it's bouncing, hitting here, bouncing. So we can really come in here and say, okay, well, this can really use some darkening right along this area here. And I'm just using this blue as my shadow. That's perfectly okay. And then it's gonna probably follow like that line right there a little bit. And then boom, the light hits there, shadow, shadow, boom, the light hits again. So if you just kind of look at it that way, same as up here, you know, here's that dark comes in, light hits here, misses there, but hits there. So we can put some shadow underneath there. And our grayscale is already telling us all this. We're interpreting what the grayscale is telling us now. We're reinterpreting it as color onto the page. That's basically what we're doing. So I'm gonna find that pink that I was thinking about going with. Kind of wanted a bright one, but I wanted it to be pink. So we can look at these two colors and see which one we like the best, and this one is going to win to me. So I'm going to use this as my pink now, and I know this is going to have some reds in it, so I can start pulling some of this pink out of there and not really worrying too much. I can start adding it in. And then I do want it around this eye here, so this eye is going to be pretty gnarly later. So I'm just going to add that pink right there around it. Maybe right there, up into this highlight here. And see how it plays well with these other colors here. And it plays well with the green, it's playing well with the blue. So we're gonna leave that in there. If I'd used that other pink, not so much. It probably would have been just too bold. It wouldn't have worked. So just try to give him back a little bit of his humanity that he had before. Just letting you know he had this on his face before, and it hasn't totally gone away yet. So we can use this now. Don't be scared to just bring it on up into there. We've established a lot of cool greens and blue greens and stuff like that, but there's no reason we can't just kind of bring some of this up in here. We kind of did it over there on accident with the, well, not really on accident, but with this light peach, and of course it's got this color. It's not too far off from this right here. This is just less saturated, I guess you would say. It's more of a dominant colored pink. So we're just kind of working some around. And I'm not really making a lot of judgment calls of where I'm putting this, other than the Grayscale's already decided what to do. So there's that. The eyeball, I don't know if we want to go to a huge tutorial about eyeballs, but let's do one. And it's kind of, I'll take my approach and show you how I look at it. On most eyes, now this is going to be a zombie eye, but it looks like it's pretty crystal clear, like a regular normal eye would be. If it didn't have so much of a pupil and it's more glazy looking, then I would do it different. But we're going to treat it like a real eye. So I kind of set up a rule long ago when I was doing this, is that I'm going to go in with my light color. I'm going to make this like I'm going to do like an orange eye. So all the way on the other spectrum is the yellows, and then on the other side is we're going to see the reds playing out, and sitting in between those two are the oranges. So I'm going to put this color in. I'm going to pull that red, a darker color, and what I want to do is just establish the dark outer ring of the eye here. So, and then the inner part, I'm trying to stay out of that highlighted area. I'm giving it some little flakes to the outside like this. And an eyeball is a sphere. So there's your eyeball, your pupil or whatever, this is your iris. You want to think of it like this. And right in front of you, it'll be like a straight, but then you'll gradually do that with your eye, because it comes around it like that and then disappears into the pupil. So we're gonna take that and use it. There's a straight in one, just kind of around, not really making huge dents in it, and it's a little tapping around this edge, just like it's pulling something like that. Then I want to take a nice, I seriously have just a huge stack of pencils. Another yellow here. This isn't so much that I'm trying to blend it, is that I'm trying to change the color a little bit. I'm more of a mixing it than blending it. So I'm actually going to take some orange, this Aztec gold. See if I can't get this guy to glow a little bit. Just one of those reds to kind of fade away into an orangey color. But I don't want to kill all the yellow that's in there. There. You got that going. Take a little bit of this light blue, A little lighter than that. Yeah, maybe something like this. Use that around. Try to use this kind of shade in around the, I don't know what part of the eye, the white of the eye. Yeah, something like that. That'll work for me. So now I'm gonna take my this blue here, go back in. Now, if you look, you'll see the grayscale. This grayscale is going to play through no matter what I'm sitting here doing because I've got this bright color. I can sit here and just put this there and there and there. Yeah, I'll get some of that grayscale to disappear, but it's always going to show through. So if I want it to go away, like up in this darker area up here, I'm not going to get it with this blue. So I really need to step down into a deeper color. I just seen this sitting over here. It's called Midnight, so I'm gonna think that it has a little blue in it. I think I've used it before and said, yeah, it's got like a purple tint to it. So I'm just gonna come in here and I'm going very lightly, just very light strokes on here, and I'm just gonna apply some of this into here. Trying to give us something here. I'm just going to walk it very slowly across here, just barely touching it. This color that I'm putting on now, it's not really affected, so don't try to go around like you're going over these fleshy things and stuff like that. Just kind of push through all of it. You know, I can start up here. I'm creating a shadowy area, so I'm not trying to commit to any forms or shapes that are in there. Other than that little spot right there. Now I can just start getting into more of that form making in here just by layering over a few more times in these darker areas. Like that right there. So we didn't just go in there with a bold, we preserved some tint of our colors in there. We preserved some of that and we gave it a shadow. Now down here we're gonna go a little bit less of this because there's less shadow, and let more of that color show through. And I like to do is go ahead and darken this up. There's no reason for it to be lingering like it is when it can add so much to this eyeball just by darkening up this and coming around the bottom of it. Turn my paper because I never learned how to do all that artsy stuff where, you know, you tape your paper down. Oh my gosh, you might as well just handcuff me. I see them people, they take their paper like this right here and tape it down, and then they use their, it's like, I'm not that skilled. I'm not. I don't have that, whatever that is that artists have, where they can just, you know, like this and get the same. Yeah, I'm a page turner. I'm gonna turn the page. Might as well, it's not gonna matter. Might as well come in here and establish some of these deep recesses right here. I didn't put any color in there, so you know, it's gonna make it a little bit harder. A lot of times you wanna go ahead and establish your color in there. And I'm picking out some of these spots, and a lot of times I'm just doing dots. I'm just like right here. I just want to dot. I just want to. It's like taking it and moving something. It's just barely nudge it. I just want to nudge that color in there. I don't want to just get into it. So a lot of times when I get into more detailed work, it's just simply me putting a dot, a move, and doing, you know, something like this right here. If I'm not, you know, trying to actually do something in a certain time frame. There. So now we've established this little area right here. Well, let's move on down. I'm probably not going to finish, you know, like this whole picture. But I think that someone can see what I'm doing and just kind of keep going. It's like, oh, I like that green and I like the blue and the yellow together. And that pink really works. So that's all this this coloring is about, are these colors. Showing you how they can work together and play together. Excuse me. Yep. So I'm going to go into some of this older flesh around in the mouth and stuff like that, and you might want to call it the wet flesh or whatever. I can see the highlights in there, and that tells me right there that, yeah, this is some wet fleshy stuff in here. So that's what we're dealing with in there. Try not to break this pencil. Oh yeah, I like that tip. Right, a little more. There we go. Here, crunch. All right. So, all right, this is killing me. I got to do a little bit more right here. That's just why I got it in my hand. Because it doesn't need to be a donut. I can push some of this red. Kind of get that orange. I'm just barely touching it, and I'm just trying to get a little bit of that up into there more. And what that's going to establish is that the areas that are actually these brighter areas, it's going to make them stand out. They were just kind of spread out. Now it's kind of concentrated that brighter area, and that's good to do. It doesn't all have to be, if something's bright, like a lightning strike or something like that, it doesn't all have to be that super bright. It doesn't all have to be that way. It can just be like that, and it'll actually give you back a better look, just by go ahead and toning a little bit of that down. It'll give you those other areas a little bit, make them look a little brighter. So now I'm going to go into this fleshy stuff, and before I hit it with the red, because it's such a bold color, this guy's got like this and this working. I just want to call this another tooth down here, but it's not. So we got to make sure we don't end up making that look like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that pink back in, and this is for no other reason than just to reestablish that that's what this is. This is part of his flesh. This is not a tooth. Because when I get going, I'll get into the zone and I'll totally mess this up by coloring something that's not supposed to be. Okay, so now I can tell myself that everything else is flesh and tooth. In here is the red in the tooth. I come back and I reclaim these for the pink. Kind of like took a number. I took a number. These are reserved for this color. So there. That's done. So I can probably just pop a little bit of this yellow down here. I sure hope all this is showing up. I put an X, trying to be all I put an X right there for the middle of my page, just to try to make this all go together better, instead of, you know, me over here coloring off the page. Trying to stay in these, just trying to make better quality videos, because I have absolutely no clue what I'm doing, and I really want people to hang around and see my videos. Let's put some of this green in there. Now notice I did not bother to bring that blue down here, and the reason I didn't, that was a conscious decision not to bring the blue into this to make my yellow. And the reason is I don't want that. I want to get in the yellow, but I want to bring reds in here, and I don't want them to turn too purpley. So I really don't want those colors to touch. I'm keeping them away from each other. So now I've got that established. Now I'm going to start doing some of this red. And I'm gonna start like right in here, just to see how it's gonna take. Because sometimes if there's a lot of this ink in here, excuse me, if there's a lot of ink in here, it makes, because you don't know what the pencil's gonna do until you get in there. So find a little safe spot and see what it's gonna do. And sometimes it's just a matter of, oh, well, I better not put that much pressure there. I better back off a little bit. So that's what I'm doing now. And I want to run these down here. So I'm getting this color in. I'm going to have to let my dog in. I guess I can re-edit this. I'm gonna bring this red right down into there, right down into these areas, and it's gonna mix with the green. Now, when it hits green, it's gonna go to mud, because they're complementary colors. But when you put them on top of each other, they're gonna turn to mud. That's all, because you gotta think of what you're actually mixing here. What I'm mixing is the green is blue. It takes blue and yellow to make green. So as soon as I hit green with this right here, now you've taken red, blue, and green. If you ever do this little experiment, you can take those three colors, mix them up, and keep mixing them, and they will turn to a brownish color. So I'm trying to just, I want it to do that, but I want to kind of control it, and I don't want to lose my pink fleshy stuff. So I'm going in with this and getting this red in there. There's not a whole lot of places I can put this because of the deep shadows. Oh, I want that pink up there. I don't want it. I don't know. I could take it up into this nose. That might be pretty cool. All right, let's do that. This is going to be pretty cool. But there's a lot of blue up there I want to avoid. So let's go ahead and run it over here a little bit around this pink and get up into here with it. We could say, see that line right there? We could try to get to that line just by coming out here, maybe meet up with this one, do something like that. Take some liberties and do our own thing. Cool. And I know it doesn't look like I'm doing much here. And that's some bold red in there. But we're staying out of them shadows. See them white dot right there? Stay away. Try to avoid that. You don't want to mess up. We're gonna come up into here, and we're looking at that white line, that bright line that's there. And then it's got this really cool shadow underneath the nose there, and we're gonna pull some of this up into there, just like we did over here, and just kind of give it a little more texture. And we don't want to hit that white line, but we can hug it. We can get right here and just give it a little hug there. All right. And we'll pull another one right there. And it's not much. And on the overall scheme of things, that matters. It really does. And so will this one right here that I'm going to pull up. And I'm looking up here for a place for it to rest, because it just can't come up here for no reason. There's really nothing for it up here unless I do something like that. So I really, because it's such a dominant little encove or cove or whatever it is, I really want to find a place for it up here just to play. And let's do something like that. Yeah, there we added something. These are just interesting little details that I want to add. And honestly, I would probably sit here for about 45 minutes to an hour just finding these little channels that I could run this red up in and get it up in there, because you see it's turning kind of a pinky color anyway, and then it goes into that blue. And these are just interesting things that you can do. I find it interesting. I think it adds your because I want to think about my viewer who's going to look at this and they're going to say, oh well, that's cool. That's what, and in the end, these little details and features are going to be what makes it this really cool. So I'm bringing some of these reds on down, because whatever happened here, I don't know how he became a zombie, but I don't know if he's just been eating so much he just don't care. I mean, he's beyond dental hygiene, that's for sure, and the rest of him is just getting gnarly. And we're gonna give it to him. We're gonna tell him, okay, we're gonna give you that. Now I still want this not to be blood. I still want that to be whatever this green stuff is coming in. And I hope you take note on how light I am on my pencil, because I am preserving my paper. This kind of goes through here. I'm just and if I need to do it 3 times right here, if I need more, I ask myself, hey, do I need more? It's like, yeah, let's give it, just push it a little more. All right, let's stop right there. Let's kind of push it up, right there. Okay, let's stop right there. That's all we needed. Getting something going on here. So with all of this said, kind of favoring up some of these darker areas right here, trying to give it something, because as fellow human beings, we cannot relate to being a zombie or actually seeing this. We've never seen it other than what Hollywood tells us and things like that. So I would like to step away from that. If I'm going to do something that's a fairy tale or make-believe horror, whatever it is, why can't I reestablish what I want it to be? Of course, everybody's eye is going to want to see the Hollywood thing, and that's what's going to make this so different from that, is that we're not following their cookie cutter zombies that are whatever they are. We're just kind of reinventing. This is our zombie. This is what we don't know. What he might have went through a chemical change or something like that. And he's got all this going on. But that's how I kind of view these right here, because that's the fun. That's being creative and doing something that's really fun. I'm gonna darken that up a little bit more. Oh, it was a little risky, but I did it there. Okay. You see, I'm so gentle with my pencils and what I'm trying to do here. I'm really barely putting any pressure on any of this as I go. I'm going to come out of this blue now and start reestablishing that green. I'm just thinking, how do I want to do it? I want it to flow up. Oh, there's a dot under there. Get on my page. Oh, I hate that more than anything. You're rolling around and there's like this little speck of something underneath, and it's almost like you hit a fire hydrant, whack, with your pencil, and it just destroys that whole area. It's like, really? Here's some of those greens coming back. That's why we use that blue. Getting some of that green from this and just transitioning back into that greener area. And that's what we're doing. Because this doesn't have to always be, we've got the blue in there. It doesn't have to stay blue. It can go to that green if we want it to. But I really like that blue to blue green, then into a more intense green. I don't know all the artistic terminology for all that, but that's what I call it. I want to brighten this up between here. Just kind of give this something a little more. And I am pressing a little hard right here. Look at that. There we go. And there's our slime. There's our slime. And we haven't done a background, so we'll have to reestablish a lot of this. Oh, we left his ear out completely. But I want it to be, let's reform his humanity. We'll give him some fleshy tones in here. There you go, buddy. Welcome back to the human race. Ooh, that was a good lesson right there. If you got this light area and you bounce into something that's really got a lot of ink, it's gonna look like it's gonna have like a sandy effect. It's almost like you're never gonna get rid of it either. It's such a pain. So when you're pushing into a shadow like this, just be careful not to get into the too dark. I can live with that one there. And a lot of times that's all you want to do is just put your pencil on and just give it a little move around. There we go. Now we'll come in with our yellows. Now see, this pencil right now, it's laying down color, but it wants me to push harder to do it. I don't want to, so I need to reestablish this tip right here. I'm just going to back a little bit of the wood off the pencil. Don't break. There we go. And there. And I got my new tip. Now it's going to get scratchy. Yeah, there we go. And now I can use a lighter touch. And you know, a lot of people are like, oh, my Prismacolor pencils are always breaking. Well, you're breaking them. I'm sorry. You can pretend that Prismacolor has a problem, but there's thousands of artists out there who are not breaking them. So get a little lighter, get a little sharper tip. I get kind of a little bit of flack because of the way I sharpen my pencils. People, not really flack. It's just that people are like, nah, I think I'll stick with the way that I'm doing it. You know, the way the Prismacolor pencils come, and I've got an actual Prismacolor sharpener, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's your thing. Just don't complain about them breaking. That's just my my take on that. And yes, I do break them here and there. Mostly my white pencil, because I get that white pencil in my hand, I go crazy. That's like at the end of the game when I go around and I try to reestablish. Like when I finish a picture, I go back and I try to reestablish some colors. And what I'm doing is the values, because that's the most important thing, is the values to this. These colors don't make a hoot. It doesn't matter. Yeah, they look cool and vibrant here and there. But when it's all said and done, at the end of the game, if you don't have good value in here and this doesn't look formed properly, then the whole thing falls apart. It's just, you cannot have, without your values, you just can't have a really cool piece. That's just my experience on it and my thoughts on it. Excuse me. So let's brighten this up a little bit as it's coming out to the end here. When I color in this style, a lot of times it it gets a little remnants of, it looks kind of like a marker. It's almost like someone did marker. And, okay, that's fine. Look at that. Now, whatever this eye is made out of that made it do this blue right here, I kind of want to say that that's what's maybe over here a little bit. And I'm just going to hint at it. I'm not going to really make any bold statement. I'm just going to kind of hint that this blue is in here. Nothing too bold, not too many areas, just a little bit, just to kind of tie this all together. That whatever this went through, this kind of went through the same process. There, that's it. Now I want to find that dark color that I had earlier, that little midnight color, and I'm just gonna kind of roll it around in here. Nothing major. I'm not trying to push any of the other color away too much. I do want a little bit of shadow in there. I'm just being so gentle. Just being gentle. Oh, I like that little line right there. I'm gonna run with that little line. Dot, 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 dot. There we go. And I'm gonna pull this down a little bit there. And run across some of this blue. There we go. I'll probably push this a little further back. And when I say pushing, it means that I'm using shadow to kind of give that depth, and I'm pushing it away from my eye. Basically, you're kind of saying that I'm pushing this away from this. I want this to be further away than this area here. So, and the way you do that is just creating these shadows and darkness and pushing it out of sight a little bit. Less light to it. So that's kind of what we're saying. This is not getting as much light up here. So, there. And if you jump on this trying to do this right here and you use a heavy, it is a technique of, I don't know, it's a practice skill. That's what this is being able to come in with this super dark color and not totally blow this. There. So there, we didn't totally blow it out. And now, having done that, I really want this right here to be a little darker up in here, but not yet. And same down here, I want this to be a little darker too, but not yet. I want to establish the rest of this, and that's kind of the in-game thing. So I think where I'm at now is given enough ideas on how to accomplish something like this, and I think I can stop it here. I'm gonna continue on and maybe make like a part 2 to this, so we'll see how that goes.